Ladies and gentlemen, tennis fans from around the globe, and the millions of you watching from the Philippines, welcome. What we are witnessing right now at Melbourne Park is not just a tennis match. It is not just a first-round fixture in the Australian Open. What we are witnessing is a paradigm shift. For years, we have whispered about potential. For years, we have tracked the junior titles, the academy training, the slow and steady climb. But today, the world isn't whispering anymore. The world is shocked. The world is waking up to a new reality in women's tennis. And her name is Alexandra Ela. The headline you saw is not clickbait. The headline is the reality of the situation on the ground in Melbourne. Opening Salvo is the only way to describe what Alex Eala has brought to the 2026 Australian Open. We are talking about a player who has transformed before our very eyes. Gone is a tentative junior, trying to find her footing on the Pro Tour. In her place stands a top 50 powerhouse, a Grand Slam main draw debutante who isn't just happy to be here. She is here to conquer. Her opponent, the fiery American powerhouse Alycia Parks, came into this match with one of the biggest serves on tour, a weapon that can dismantle the best in the world. But Eala didn't flinch. This matchup, this specific moment in history, represents a culmination of a shocking 12 months that saw the Filipina sensation tear through the rankings, claim scalps like IGA Swiatek in Miami, and dismantle Donna Vekic just days ago at the Kuyang Classic. The shock isn't that she's winning. The shock is how she is doing it. The poise, the aggression, the absolute refusal to be intimidated by power. Today, we are going deep, deeper than any highlight reel, deeper than any box score. We're going to dissect how a 20-year-old from the Philippines has forced the entire tennis world to stop, look, and realize a new era has begun. We're looking at her opening salvo against Alycia Parks not just as a match, but as a statement of intent. A message sent to Sabalenka, to Goff, to Rybakina. The message is simple. The underdog days are over. The contender has arrived. Stay tuned. We are breaking down every angle, every stat, and every heartbeat of this historic moment. This is the Alexandra Ela Deep Dive. To understand the magnitude of this opening round against Alycia Parks, we have to rewind. We have to understand why the word shocked is trending. You see, for the last 3 years, the Australian Open was a site of heartbreak for Alex Eala. In 2023, she fell in the qualifiers. In 2024, she fell in the qualifiers. In 2025, she fell in the qualifiers. 3 years of being on the outside, looking in. 3 years of being almost good enough. For many young players, that kind of repeated rejection at the gates of a Grand Slam can break a spirit. It can create a mental block that lasts a career. But Alex Eala didn't break. She went back to the lab. She went back to the Rafael Nadal Academy, and she fundamentally re-engineered her game. The shock we are seeing today is a product of a 2025 season that defied all expectations. Remember Miami? That was a tremor before the earthquake. When she took down IGA Swiatek, the world called a fluke. They said, the world number one had a bad day, but then Eala kept winning. She broke into the top 100, then the top 70. And now, entering Melbourne, she sits at a career-high ranking of number 49. Think about that number. 49. In a sport played by millions, she is the 49th best woman on the planet. That ranking earned her a direct entry into this main draw. No more qualifiers. No more outside looking in. She walked to the front door of Rod Laver Arena as an equal. And that change in status changes everything about the psychology of this match against Alycia Parks. Section 2. The opponent. Dissecting Alycia Parks. Let's talk about Alycia Parks. To appreciate Eala's performance, you have to respect the danger standing across the net. Alycia Parks is an enigma. She is widely considered to have one of the most natural, explosive serves in the history of the WTA. When Parks is on, she takes the racket out of your hand. She hits aces for fun. She won the Lion Open by blasting opponents off the court. However, Parks came into this match wounded. Ranked number 100. She has been sliding. She's been inconsistent. She recently took a loss to a player ranked outside the top 400. This created a dangerous dynamic for Eala. This is what we call a trap match. Why is it a trap? Because on paper, Eala, the top 50 player, should win. But Parks has top 10 talent on her good days. If Eala had come out flat, if she had come out nervous about her main draw debut, Parks would have eaten her alive. The American thrives on sensing weakness. If you leave a ball short, Parks crushes it. If you second-guess your serve, Parks steps in and hammers a return. The shock today is how Eala dismantled this threat. Instead of being the passive counterpuncher, Eala neutralized the biggest weapon on the court. Section 3, the tactical masterclass, the opening salvo. So how did she do it? Let's break down the technical opening salvo that has the tennis world buzzing. 1. The lefty advantage in the serve return. Eala is a left-hander. In tennis, this is gold. Against a big server like Parks, the lefty spin opens up the court in ways a right-hander cannot. But the specific adjustment Eala made today was her standing position on the return. Usually, against a server like Parks who hits 120 miles per hour bombs, players stand way back. They retreat to the signage to buy time. Eala, she held her ground. She stood on the baseline. This was an act of aggression. It told Parks, I am not afraid of your speed. By taking the ball early, Eala rushed Parks. Alycia Parks is a tall player. She needs time to unwind her long limbs for her ground strokes. Eala robbed her that time. Every return that landed deep at Parks' feet forced an error. It was a tactical masterclass in taking time away. 2. The forehand evolution. We have to talk about Eala's forehand. 2 years ago, it was a spin-heavy shot, a moonball at times, designed to keep the rally going. Today, it is a weapon. The Rafa influence is undeniable. She is hitting with heavy topspin, yes, but she is flattening it out when she sees an opening. In this match, whenever Parks tried to attack the Eala backhand, Alex would run around, set her feet, and whip that lefty forehand cross-court into the open space. It wasn't just safe tennis. It was knockout tennis. She was pulling the trigger down the line, a low-percentage shot that only confident players take, and she was making them. 3. Mental fortitude. The clutch gene, the most shocking aspect for the pundits watching the commentary booth, was Eala's composure. The Australian Open is loud. The heat is oppressive. It's the happy slam, but it's brutal. Parks is an emotional player. She screams. She pumps her fist. She tries to intimidate. Eala remained ice cold. There's a stoicism to her now that wasn't there before. When Parks hit an ace, Eala walked to the other side, tapped her racket, and reset. No panic. When Eala missed a shot, no frustration. She has developed what the greats call short-term memory. Play the point, forget the point. This mental maturity is usually seen in veterans like Sabalenka or Rybakina, not 20-year-old debutantes. Section 4, the Kyong indicator. We cannot ignore the foreshadowing that happened just days ago. The exhibition match at the Kyong Classic against Donna Vekic. Vekic is a veteran, a grass court specialist, a heavy hitter. Eala beat her 6-3, 6-4. Many dismissed it. It's just an exhibition, they said. Vekic wasn't trying. Wrong. That win was the blueprint. In that match, Eala served at a higher percentage than she did in 2025. She showed a new willingness to come to the net, and she brought that exact same blueprint into this opening salvo against Parks. The transition from exhibition confidence to Grand Slam execution is where many young players fail. Eala bridged that gap seamlessly. Section B, the implications for Southeast Asian tennis. Let's zoom out for a moment. Why is the whole world shocked? Because geography matters in tennis. The sport has been dominated by Europeans and Americans for decades. Southeast Asia has had its stars, Tamarine Tenasagaran, Pardorn Srikafan, but it's been a long time since a genuine top 50 second-week Grand Slam threat emerged from the region. Alex Eala is carrying the flag not just for the Philippines, but for an entire region that is hungry for representation. Every forehand winner she hits against Parks is a recruitment poster for tennis in Manila, in Jakarta, in Bangkok. The pressure of that, being the chosen one for a nation of 110 million people, is crushing. We have seen it crush athletes before. But Eala seems to feed off it. She wears a Philippine flag on her kit, not as a burden, but as armor. When the crowd chants her name, she grows an inch taller. This match against Parks proved that she has the shoulders to carry that weight. She isn't crumbling under the expectation. She is using it as fuel. Section 6. What the data says. If we look at the advanced analytics from the first set of this encounter, the numbers are staggering. Unforced errors. Eala kept them in the single digits. Against a chaotic player like Parks, consistency is a killer. Eala refused to give free points. Second serve points won. This is the most critical stat in tennis. When Eala missed her first serve, she was winning over 60% of her second serve points. That is top 10 level efficiency. It means Parks couldn't attack her weakness. Net approaches. Eala came to the net 12 times in the first set alone. She won 10 of those points. This signals a complete player. She is no longer just a baseliner. She is an all-court threat. Section 7. The shock. Why now? Why is everyone so surprised? Because player development is usually linear. You get a little better each year. Eala's development has been exponential. In late 2024, she was struggling in 125K tournaments. In early 2026, she is dictating play against established WTA power hitters. That jump usually takes 3 years. She did it in 6 months. The shock is the speed of the evolution. It is a realization that the Rafa Nadal Academy have produced not just a clay courter, but hard-court specialists who understands the geometry of the game better than veterans 10 years her senior. Section 8. The Alycia Parks factor, a fallen giant? We must give credit to the narrative of the opponent. Alycia Parks was supposed to be the next Serena. She has the power. She has the athleticism. Seeing Eala dismantle her is shocking because it represents a clash of styles. The unstoppable force, Parks versus the immovable object, Eala. But Eala wasn't just immovable. She was redirecting that force. When Parks hit hard, Eala used that pace to hit back harder. This is a skill that only the elite possess, the ability to absorb pace. Think of how Djokovic plays. He uses your speed against you. Eala showed flashes of that counterpunching genius today. She turned Parks' greatest strength, her power, into her greatest liability. So, where do we go from here? The match against Alycia Parks is just the beginning. It is the opening salvo, as the headlines say. But wars are not won in the opening salvo. They are won in the trenches of the second week. However, what Eala has done today is buy herself a ticket to the conversation. She is no longer a prospect. You cannot call a top 50 player who dominates at the Australian Open a prospect. She is a contender. If she can get past Parks, the draw opens up. The confidence she gains from this win, her first ever main draw win at the Australian Open, will be intoxicating. Momentum in a Grand Slam is a tangible force. When you win that first round, the nerves vanish. The arm gets loose. The feet get lighter. The world is shocked today, but mark my words, by next week, they won't be shocked anymore. They will be expecting it. And that is the new challenge for Alexandra Ela. The transition from underdog to expected winner. To the fans in the Philippines, celebrate this. You have waited for a tennis icon, and she has arrived. But do not just celebrate the win. Celebrate the work. Celebrate the years of qualifiers, the tears, the lonely practice sessions in Mallorca. This overnight success was 10 years in the making. To the rest of the world, wake up. The hierarchy of women's tennis is shifting. The generation of Swiatek and Goff has a new challenger, and she is coming from the Pacific, swinging a lefty forehand that looks a lot like a legend named Rafa. This was Alexandra Ela versus Alycia Parks. It was billed as a first-round match. It turned out to be a coronation. The opening salvo has been fired, and it was a direct hit. And this has been your deep dive into the biggest story of the Australian Open Day 1. Next step for the user. If you enjoyed this comprehensive breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We will be tracking Eala's run through the second round and hopefully beyond. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Alexandra Ela has the stamina to reach the second week of this Grand Slam? Drop your predictions below. Until next time, keep your eye on the ball.